Hey y'all, and welcome back to our famous hip hop radio on our 420 show, back with the Perception Queen. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And we're going to go ahead and give our small energy forecast before we start the show for the day. And yesterday was 12/12, so very significant in numerology. And it's actually a portal. So what that means is it's actually an opened gate, quote unquote, for you to have maybe your manifestations or your dreams or whatever you want to come true put out at this time, set in an intention, and for them to come true. So right now we're still in that portal. If you guys want to go ahead and activate it, just go ahead and think about what you guys want to manifest, what things you guys want to bring into your lives. For you guys that don't know what manifest means, that means actually thinking about something and then it comes to you, not as easily. Of course, you have to think about what goes into that. What do you really want? Be careful of what you want, make sure it doesn't hurt anybody or others. So keep that in mind. Yes, and then also we want to go ahead and give a quote of the day, which is happiness is a state of being, not a destination. And if you guys don't know what manifestation is, also look it up on Google so you guys know what that is. Also, we do have some Skittles and some Sour D to be tasting today. And we also have Evan coming on today from Cannabis and Staffing. And we also will have Brianna on later from High Five Edibles for product review. So Evan, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you first for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Of course.
First off, about me, I am Albuquerque born and raised. I, kind of found myself looking for, bigger things like everyone else does who's raised in Albuquerque, who thinks, the first thing I need to do is get out of this city and make something happen. And I actually more so realized that this is a place for opportunity that, so many markets are saturated or different places are saturated with people already going there that you can really you have a better opportunity to make a name for yourself here in a lot of different ways and then actually, help the city grow that I was raised in, Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit about me in terms of where I'm from. But I'm also, an artist and I've done comedy and I've done music in the past and right now I'm working at Cannabis and Staffing. That's really why I'm here today. And Cannabis and Staffing is a training and recruiting firm here in New Mexico. And not only do we hire for the licensed businesses here in the medical cannabis program, but we also provide education that is specific to the Department of Health. And what that means is the Linen, Air, and Compassionate Use Act is the legislation that was passed to legalize medical cannabis. And
way back in 2007.
Exactly. And in that legislation, it states a provision that basically that you have to have a HIPAA certification. You need to pass a federal and a state background check. And for some of the licensed businesses, you have to have a food handlers and safety. And then also within that MCP requirement, which that's what those requirements are for, your medical cannabis provider card.
Right.
You also are recommended, and actually we're looking into it now because it seems in the legislation that it's required, but it's not always treated that way. And so we're really trying to set a standard here of just education with safety and security. Mm-hmm. That's education that's required. Then actually education on the Linen, Air, and Compassionate Use Act. So people who work in the industry know the legislation that actually legalized their industry. And then also an ethics class. So, this is
code of conduct, ethics, stuff
exactly,
like that.
Integrity, accountability.
You think that are common knowledge, but they really are not. That's why when you go into a job, they actually hand you this big-ass pamphlet, and you have like 2 weeks worth of training. And it's because you learn those ethics. You learn that code of conduct. And this industry does not have that right now, and especially in New Mexico.
Right, and that's what we're trying to do. We're really trying to break that stigma. And what this education does, and especially with the ethics, is in the cannabis industry, let's say, it's so difficult to get onboarded because of these regulations, to have all these certificates that you have to actually work in the industry, which is what we're providing. It takes about 2 months to be onboarded onto a company, right? And so that's time that is very valuable to a company that costs them a lot of money when they're missing out on employees who leave without 2 weeks notice, when now it's going to take them 2 months maybe to hire someone new or even longer. And so then that's where ethics comes in the cannabis industry. Like, if you're going to leave a company, you should maybe give them even longer of notice because of the cannabis requirements. And also, how can you be better
just
trained?
The fact that it's hard to get employees in this cannabis industry.
Exactly. And then our class...
So when somebody leaves, it hurts a business, So a longer time frame, a period would be better,
Right. And I think what also, with our classes that we're trying to help is that onboarding process gets cut down to about a week. Because when you take our classes, you are now Department of Health ready. And you can be employed by any licensed nonprofit in the state after you take our classes and you pass your background checks.
Awesome. So I've heard that you guys also do, what if you want to own your own dispensary? You guys help you with that education as well, too? Or what do you guys do with that?
Right. So we've had medical cannabis symposiums in the past. I'm not sure if you've attended one of those.
Of course. I've always been a sponsor of them.
That's super awesome.
Both years.
Right. That's awesome. And our past one was in Las Cruces. And that actually was really cool. Michelle Lujan Grisham showed up before she ended up winning the election, and Governor Gary Johnson was there. But in the medical cannabis symposium, you take cannabis tax, hemp tax, and hemp law classes, business licensing classes, then also just cannabinoid therapy. And so it goes a wide array of cannabis and hemp classes that we provide. But right now we're actually working on a customer service class, and then we will be working on, once the medical cannabis program opens up to more licenses, we'll probably make a class on how to start your own businesses.
That's coming soon. So are you guys preparing for recreational? Because that's in the midst too. So are you guys preparing for that as well? I'm not going to ask you what you're doing, but I'm going to ask you, are you preparing for it?
Yeah. I think we
in
all
short
are
answer, you know what I mean?
I think we all are trying to prepare for recreation. I think
I
think at this moment, what we're all really stoked on is the hemp legalization.
Heck yeah. That's
and
huge.
For us, I think that's something that's going to hit right away in January. That's what we're really prepping for. But yeah, recreational, we're all gunning for that to happen as soon as possible. And we're going to do our best to provide as much education and training resources and also hiring resources for everyone in New Mexico.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'd love to talk more about that on our next segment here on our 420 show. We will be right back for a second segment to talk to Evan more about his canna staffing.
Thank you.
Welcome back to our 420 show on Famous Hip Hop Radio. Back with the Perception Queen and back with Evan from Cannabis NM Staffing. You're welcome, of course. And we also have Brianna from High Five Edibles. And we also have Wendy in the house. So we're talking, actually, we have we have a lot of topics today, but they all correlate together. But I just want to congratulate. I've been so busy with the show and everything and booking and all this good stuff. I forgot to tell everybody about the hemp bill that's being passed, which is so exciting. They actually signed it with Senate Mr. McConnell, I believe his name is. He actually signed it with a hemp pen. So that's so history. That's like the Constitution all over again or something for weed or for hemp, So power to the people for that. So that's exciting. And then I just wanted to talk about, Epidiolex, I believe it's called. It's just horrible. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but it's the actual seizure medication that they're making for CBD for Big Pharma. It actually has ethanol and sugar in there, which are two main things that can actually cause seizures. And not only that, in children are actually very, very sensitive to sugar and to ethanol and stuff like that. And they're also giving it to sugar. To children. They made it specifically for children for their seizures.
So it's a
and
complete contradiction.
Yes, because these kids that are having these seizures, maybe they have autism, ADHD on top of it. You know, they're very sensitive, or maybe they don't have seizures. They have ADHD and stuff like that. They're very sensitive. They can't eat gluten. They can't eat sugar. They can't eat all this white bread. Like, it's crazy the way it's coming out, that they're finding that they can't correlate and eat all these different things. And at the same time, they're making a quote unquote medicine that actually has the sugar and ethanol in there. So it's just nuts. It drives me nuts.
One of the things that I posted and had an issue with
is
because we fought GW Pharmaceuticals, a group of us, for years to try and keep them from trying to block CBD being accessible to everybody, make it illegal. And so with that Epidiolex, doing some research on that because I'm in the medical field as well, and worked with children through through different disease processes and conditions, and seizures is one of them, and epilepsy. And one of the side effects on this Epidiolex is that it causes additional seizures.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
it's not helping
That's a
necessarily.
side
And the other
effect.
thing is they took CBD and turned it into a pharmaceutical. However, the natural product isn't causing additional seizures, but something that they want to charge $2,500 per dose.
No, it was like $3,500, I thought. That's nuts.
Yeah, $2,500 to $3,500.
Yeah.
And you're looking at thousands and thousands.
Do you know how
And
many
they're putting
milligrams
ethanol?
is in there?
And they're putting ethanol in it?
100 milligrams.
Exactly. And so it's not necessarily
100 milligrams of CBD
I mean,
in there.
when should a human ever consume ethanol?
Never.
That's what, yeah. Why
It's
is
jet
that?
fuel, though.
Exactly.
If they put it
That's
in,
what I'm trying to understand.
Alcohol.
It's not even evaporated.
Oh, my
That's
God.
the sad part. And the sugars as well. Like you were mentioning, Cassandra, that's important for people to look at. And so that's one of the reasons why we really have to advocate for patients, even if it goes legal or rec. We need to make sure that they can't come in and ruin something that's all natural for people.
Heck yeah.
That's our medicine.
People need to be educated, and that's why we do have the show, so people do understand and they do know, some of that medicine. Just because you get it from a doctor does not mean it's good medicine. That's what we're here for.
Right.
I'm not clowning on all, medicine, but there's some medicines that actually induce the same side effects that you're already are
Or
having.
make them worse.
Exactly.
Right.
And I understand the doctor, they're trying to, okay, well, let's try this, and it has a like symptom, so maybe it'll make you stop. That's what they have the theory of, right? Well, obviously they've been doing that for centuries. Has it worked?
I mean, it's an industry. They're trying to make money, and that's why you have to buy local. And,
Push
get,
for that.
Yeah, get CBD from your local provider, someone who is making it in a local community. So also, I mean, even the pollen or the allergens, or, especially if it's pesticide free. Something I have an issue with is getting even, fruit or stuff like that from places that have pollen, because it gives me allergic reactions. This is a weird thing. So then it's like same thing with the cannabis, or hemp that you consume. You should try to get it locally so your body's used to it, I would say. And you know what you're getting.
Medicine, so that way.
That's true. And I was going to say what's really important, too, to plug this for you guys to know. If you want to be in control of your medicine, grow your own.
Yep.
Get your PPL,
And look at
grow
your
own.
labels.
You can do hemp now. You're going to be able to do hemp, and you're going to be able to do cannabis. So why not
Hopefully,
create your
we'll
own
be able
medicine?
to grow all over the U.S. now. Hopefully, if
go.
the
Right.
president signs off on this hemp bill.
Right.
I don't think he has
And
any reason to.
But it's also happening in the state, right? It's already happening with the state bill, the hemp.
Yes.
The hemp
Yeah,
bill's happening in
that's happening
January,
in New
right?
Mexico
And I think the
regardless.
requirement is to grow hemp. You need to have 2 acres. Is that correct? It's like you have to.
They're still.
I
they're
didn't
still-
see,
Industrially,
I didn't
or is
see
it-
Still
acreage.
writing
Oh, they're
I
still
did
writing
not
it?
see
Okay.
any acreage when I was looking at the
They're
bill.
still writing it.
Okay.
They're in the process of
So-
writing it.
Okay, it's still being written. Okay, I guess what I've read, it must be incomplete, but that's what I was hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have a price out there, but that's
Exciting
awesome.
times.
Right. Yes, it is
It's what
exciting.
we've all been fighting for.
So it's happening not only in just states, but also, nationally.
It's going
Right.
to be great for New Mexico as far as
Yes.
us economically.
Yes.
It's going to flip our state from poverty So that's going to be wonderful if we can all get on board and work together as a community. I think that's the huge thing.
And open up huge jobs.
So there are so many, from textiles, manufacturing, extraction, to you can use the whole plant. I mean, there's like 50,000 uses for that whole plant, and that means businesses.
Even gas.
Yeah, you can biofuels. So you can have. This is stuff I've been researching for 5 years.
Me too.
I get excited and passionate
Right?
You can have a business in New Mexico for every piece of that plant.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so it saves the earth, right?
It sure
Miss
does. 10 weeds
Yaya,
instead of trees.
she has this one soil that actually like rejuvenates the earth. Like if we had soil like that, not specifically made for plants, but specifically made for our oceans and our plants, or our matter where the oceans are, the shores. We actually put that in the shores. We actually put that in our oceans, and it eats up all the oils that are in our ocean. It eats up all that toxic shit that's in our ocean.
You know, the beautiful thing too about hemp is that it is
nuts.
It's a fire retardant. Can you imagine how many homes we would have saved if they actually had the stucco or coating that is a hempcrete? That your house won't burn. It's an antifungal, and it doesn't mold.
Right.
Yep.
It's great insulation. So there's many things that we can do for that.
Yeah,
hemp
there's
industry,
little hempcrete health.
Right. The hemp industry is much bigger than.
Yeah.
It's much bigger than the cannabis industry. There's so many more uses for hemp, and it's just crazy that the propaganda all started with William Hearst owning his newspaper and not wanting. Yeah, and he had his lumber company. And he was like, "Oh, I just bought this."
Yeah.
Hemp, no, and so he spent all that money on the propaganda, the reefer madness.
Wow.
And so that's really where everyone's miseducated, and hemp, like you said, hemp can save the world.
Back in the day to
they even used it for
that
feed,
type
yeah.
of
cattle,
propaganda.
and that's why people were healthier back then too. Doing some research medically, they were noting in some of the studies that back then, because they fed it as a crop to cattle and dairy cows, all of our food back then had cannabinoids in it naturally. And even cannabinoids are found
let's
in breast
even
milk.
take it back to the dinosaurs. They even said that the dinosaurs ate hemp. So that means that it's been in our soil for thousands and thousands and thousands of
Millions.
Millions.
It's a good thing where we are right now. I'm looking forward to seeing what the industry does here and across the nation.
Heck yeah. So tell us a little bit more, Evan, about New Mexico Cannabis Staffing. What do you have in place for people that actually go to your class and then job placements? So what do you have for that? Like, where does that take you?
For Cannabis and Staffing. Not sure what I missed there. Cannabis and Staffing. So we have our core compliance training that basically gets you ready for your MCP card, your medical cannabis provider card. As long as you pass your federal and state background check. We've been getting a bunch of people hired through our systems or taking our classes and they get themselves jobs.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's been a great process, and now we recently got our classes online. I worked on that for a couple months, and now we provide our classes online so anyone in the state can become compliant under the Department of Health and not having to come to our live classes. And what's interesting about our classes is that they're cannabis oriented. So you can take a HIPAA class online, but there isn't a HIPAA class oriented around the cannabis industry. Mm-hmm. You can take an ethics class online, but there isn't an ethics class oriented really about cannabis, especially the New Mexico medical cannabis program.
Yeah, you're like the only one, I believe.
It's customized to the New Mexico cannabis program, and we're expanding with we're making more online classes now, and so it's expanding into customer service. It's expanding to growing, and we're
now with the hemp industry, right?
Right, and now we're prepping for the hemp industry. Really, I think that's really going to be a game changer here in January. We're going to be shifting as well. Putting some focus on hemp just because there's going to be such a huge demand, and we're trying to prep for that. So our online classes are available at cannabis-training-center.com, or I recommend just going straight through our website, cananmstaff.com, and you'll get them for $99 there right now. Yeah. Which is actually not... Oh my God. Well, you can get it for half off, and... let that slip. You're going to get them for half off through there. Right now we're doing a holiday sale, and you can get compliant and get yourself a job. And also, once you take those classes,
cannabis industry or hemp.
Yeah, exactly. And once you take those jobs, you get access to us through career advisement, and we can help tailor your resume and just kind of how you approach getting a job and through the process. So we offer career advisement too.
Thank you. Thank you for reiterating that. And we're going to be back with our product review for third segment with High Five Edibles and Wendy and Brianna. Our 420 show on Famous Hip Hop Radio. Back with Evan from Cannabis and Staffing, and back with Wendy and representation of High Five Edibles. And Brianna's here in the background, yeah, of course. All green, looking all green always. Anywho, Evan, if you want to share a little bit of tips that you found out working in the cannabis industry for our Facebook peeps out there needing help in the cannabis industry, sharing their posts and stuff like that, maybe without even getting reported, if that's possible.
Right. Well, I think all cannabis companies or cannabis-related CBD companies have all dealt with some, some things holding them back because of regulations on the internet, and certain softwares can't support you because you're a cannabis-related company. I'm sure we've all dealt with that, and I definitely have through marketing. And something I've learned with Facebook is I know we all want to post ads, but we can't because Facebook can't promote the sale of illicit drugs, and just the things like that, which is really interesting actually of how limited it is with advertising, and Facebook is such a good targeting tool on finding the people that are interested in what you do. And so what I'm going to kind of do is explain on how you can post an ad as a cannabis company and maybe try to give yourself some traction. So what you want to do is, instead of linking maybe something on your website, you're just going to make a regular post and use the Get Messages button and make that your call to action, or a call to action is what you want someone to do, and that's to click that button. And so by doing that is that you're not linking to anything that's promoting the sale of illicit drugs. You're just starting a conversation. Then in the post, you want to not use the word cannabis. You want to not use
so no logos, nothing.
No logos, no pictures of weed or cannabis or medicine.
Cannabis.
Industry vocab.
So
you want to stay away from. You want it to really just be as professional as possible, and don't use the stigmatized words. You want to
marijuana.
Right. And you can use other things. Talk about the growing industry in the state, an up-and-coming opportunity, and just kind of plug or say, we have some new opportunities going on, and just kind of don't use the word coupons or anything that represents commerce, but just things that start conversations. And through the inbox, if people start sending you messages with those ads, because you can get those ads boosted, and you start hitting people, and if they start a conversation, you can then start to send them to your website through the inbox.
Loopholes.
Yes, exactly. It's a loophole. And also you can set up automatic replies through your inbox. So by setting those up in your automatic replies, you could have your automatic replies send the website right away. So no one's waiting, and you're not having to spend your time all the way. You could even go as far as getting a chat bot, but those can be messy.
A chat bot?
So I just recommend doing that in all aspects with any social media platform, and even with Google searches, is try to stay away from using the word cannabis unless, Google doesn't really block it too much, so you kind of want to
so that's
hop
crazy
on that.
Though, right? On your logo, on everything that you have, even the title of your company, it says Cannabis and Staffing NM. So.
And I'm interested to see what happens on Facebook now that CBD will be federally legal. Well, as long as now it's through the Senate and the House.
I'm pretty sure it'll be fine.
I'm pretty sure he'll sign it off. I think he'll sign it off.
Yeah, I don't know
absolutely. I think
I think so.
I think it'll happen. I think after that, it'll be interesting to see if the Facebook restrictions are dropped for CBD, and I hope they are.
I know they should be, right?
As
Like
well
they
as
should
for
pick that
banking.
up.
As well as for banking.
Banking
Because-
was a big issue when I opened Rio Grande Hemp. What we had to do basically was trying to find ways to link a separate email to Square or something that did not have CBD or hemp in the name of it.
That's
there are
true.
loopholes to get around that way, but that was even an issue that we faced. So,
Heck yeah, and like
That's probably the biggest issue.
banking,
yeah. So also, Wendy, if you want to go ahead and give a little review on your High Five Excitement Loop.
Oh yeah, that is the creation of Brianna and Seth Oxhandler at
product
High Five
review.
Edibles. Yeah, she's a good friend of mine. Both of them are. Love them to death. And we were talking about lubes over a year ago and stuff. And she said, "I'm going to create one," and she did. And I'm going to tell you that it is I've tried a few of them, and this is my favorite. It's called Excitement. It has like a mild peppermint essential oil in it, and it's mild enough that it's not an irritant to the the vaginal mucosa, which is basically how you apply it. And Brianna can talk a little bit more about that if she wants to. However, regarding the Excitement, it's light, it's smooth, it's a great feel. A tingly feeling. Women are definitely going to enjoy it. And how it's applied is basically on the inside of the mucosa. It doesn't have the same effect on men. My understanding is because they don't have the same type of mucosa exposure whenever they try to apply it. But they do get to enjoy the benefits of it through the interaction of a woman that is going to enjoy it. So feel free to apply it liberally, I think, and enjoy each other. Brianna.
Awesome.
So I created this product actually because I'm going through menopause, and it's a really helpful product for me. I've had a lot of women get in touch with me that have had sexual trauma in their life or abuse, who have found that it has really helped them to relax and enjoy sex. Also, a lot of women who are a little bit older who are having some issues with menopause and having vaginal dryness. It really helps moisten the area and really helps sex be more enjoyable and more relaxing.
And I would like to also add the fact that, it has natural CBDs in it. And so those are antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal. So, I mean, you're looking at the benefits of having THC up in your business.
Making your
everything all much
edible.
better. Yeah, there you go. It's your edible.
It's an edible.
It's an edible.
Edible, so men can enjoy it orally as well and get the THC.
But I don't think men are going to be the only ones enjoying it orally. Just saying.
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
So, Wendy, can you give me a review on the flower we smoked today?
Yeah, actually, I think it was pretty smooth. The terps were good. I no cough, nice draw,
Right?
smooth.
Awesome.
That's all I can say. Is it had good. It
I think we
actually had
have
good
our
effect
sour
too.
D next.
Was it sour diesel and Skittles? I believe, right?
Correct.
So no, they actually. I was pleased with both of them as far as the quality, the aftertaste, the taste upon inhalation, aromatic as well.
How is it medically for you?
Medically?
Do you feel
Smooth.
any
No.
different effects? Do you have any pain coming here or any?
No, actually, medically coming from a medical perspective, I would say that it actually had a nice, smooth effect. I know that had a lot to do with the terps because I don't feel really high.
Good.
It didn't make me high, but it made me feel must be a
At
sense of
ease,
good-
like a
because-
homostasis kind
yeah,
of feeling,
yeah,
like a
chill.
well-being.
You're just chill. It's like
Awesome.
peaceful.
Yeah.
It's kind of peaceful.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great representation. And Brianna, do you want to go ahead and give a review on the flower we smoked today?
Oh yeah, it was really nice. I really liked the terpene flower, or the profile on the first one. Was that the Skittles?
I think the first one was the sour D because these ones right now are the Skittles.
Okay. Gotcha. I really liked that one. I think they're both really nice and smooth though.
Absolutely.
I mixed them up, so.
And where'd you get that? Where did the flower come from?
Pure Life and an Ultra Health, I believe.
How was the price?
It was good. It was fair.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. So you
I
think
really
the
don't.
quality is worth the price you
I
got?
usually do not complain about price in places because it's either really good quality or it's not. So
Right.
I'm gonna take it home or not, and I'm really not gonna bitch about the price, honestly, because if you're gonna pay that amount for that type of quality, then who cares?
As long as you're getting the
It's
quality
good.
for the dollar.
Yeah,
You know,
because
I
you
think
get
that-
more terps, you get
Right.
higher percentages,
It's a higher
you get
quality.
more tested, you get a better product in the end. So it's worth it,
Absolutely.
Even exclusives, I wouldn't spend like over $50 or $60 an eighth at all whatsoever. But at the same time, I really want something that's really dense, really terpy, and that has the looks, but also the smell. I'm like really picky, you know what I mean? So close to exclusive, but not maybe really exclusive. But
Do you prefer sativas, indicas, or hybrids?
I like mostly indicas because I'm a real high energy person. So like I do like 15 things at
Brings
once
you down,
usually.
yeah.
Yeah, so it brings me down to levels. So I'm like actually chill during the day. I'm like not doing 15 things at one time.
You know, I was going to ask Brianna, since she owns High Five Edibles manufacturing, they do the extraction with a bunch of dispensaries throughout New Mexico. And I was going to ask you your thoughts on the quality of the flower, like what you usually get into extract compared to like what you smoke.
Oh, what I smoke is so much better than what we're given. I mean, in reality, in this industry, generally we're kind of getting everyone's garbage trimmings.
Yeah, that's true.
And trying to make magic with them. You know,
because you do distillate mostly, so that's why it
That's
is.
what this is. That's beautiful.
we do organic ethanol extraction with 200 proof alcohol.
And they cryogenic.
And we do it at cryogenic freezing levels. We do very, very low temperatures in our extraction.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
That's why it comes out.
In the lab.
Yeah, that's why the concentrate.
And our extract is very clear, but we do not use bleaching clay. We don't do anything unnatural in our process.
What is bleaching clay?
Well, if you ever see extract that's clear, it's been bleached. It's a process that makes it clearer, but it's very hard.
Like with actual bleach?
Yeah, it's a type of clay, and it's very hard to get it back out.
That's why this is natural, and it's golden. You know, it's like a light golden color.
Yeah.
And I think as it keeps getting heated up, it might darken a little bit. But your concentrate is amazing, and that, you know, as a respiratory therapist, you know, we were talking about product review. I'm inhalation in the lungs. The lungs, you know, work with the heart, and the kidneys also. So it's heart, lung, and kidneys that I had specialized in. One of the things that I've seen is a lot of people in the industry having that wet cough. And it's like they're getting that lipid pneumonia. They're getting stuff built up in there. And, you know, having safe products that, like this right here, to me are amazing. Right there.
Yeah, definitely. My experience, the High Five vape is definitely on point and smooth. I didn't really have any, you know, that kind of like bad feeling in your throat when you hit something that kind of just tastes
Or
a
the
little...
burning in your nose?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was none of that. None of that.